A millionaire decided to test his employees by pretending to be homeless. He walked into his own lavish restaurant, completely disguised, with no one the wiser. What he didn't expect was that on this day, he would face profound humiliation, but also witness an unexpected act of kindness that would change everything forever. The restaurant glittered under the glow of modern chandeliers. Polished marble tables reflected crystal glasses and meticulously arranged plates. The air itself seemed to breathe sophistication, a mix of quiet laughter, the gentle clinking of silverware, and expensive perfumes mingling with the aroma of gourmet dishes. It was the kind of place where every detail screamed exclusivity. Then, the glass door swung open. A man stepped inside. His clothes were frayed, his beard unkempt, his shoes worn down to the soles. His tired, hungry eyes scanned the room as if searching for a sliver of dignity. The contrast was jarring and immediate. Patrons raised their eyebrows and whispered amongst themselves. Some instinctively leaned away, as if his mere presence were a contamination. How dreadful! A woman at a nearby table muttered, covering her nose with a silk handkerchief. The closest waiter rushed forward, his expression a mask of disapproval. "Sir, you can't stay here. This restaurant is for paying customers only." The man stood frozen, as if each step required a monumental effort. His trembling hands clutched at his empty stomach. From behind the counter, a waitress named Anna watched the scene unfold. Dressed in a simple uniform, white shirt, black apron, her hair in a hasty bun, she was different. Unlike her colleagues, she didn't look away in disgust. Instead, her heart ached. While everyone else saw an intruder, she saw something more fundamental, a human being in pain. Anna took a deep breath and walked toward him, ignoring the disapproving glares that were starting to ripple through the dining room. "You're hungry, aren't you?" she asked softly. The man could only nod, his eyes welling up with tears. Before Anna could say another word, a sharp voice cut through the air. "Anna, what do you think you're doing?" It was Sara, a fellow waitress, always pristine, her makeup flawless, her posture radiating arrogance. "This man can't be here. He's going to scare away the customers," Sara hissed. Anna remained calm, though she could feel her heart pounding in her chest. "He just wants to eat, Sara. That doesn't make him less of a person." Sara let out a mocking laugh. "Less of a person? Look at him. He's filthy. This is a restaurant, not a shelter." By now, several customers were watching the scene unfold. The waiter who had first approached the man was now wringing his hands nervously, wishing the floor would swallow him whole. Anna lifted her chin. "Everyone has a right to eat with dignity. I'm getting him a plate." Sara's eyes widened in disbelief. "Are you insane? What are you going to give him? Scraps from another table?" Anna's voice was firm. "No, a proper meal, just like any other customer." The man blinked, overwhelmed with emotion. His voice came out hoarse, almost broken. "Thank you, miss. You have no idea how much this means." Sara scoffed, crossing her arms. "This is ridiculous. I'm calling Mrs. Marisol right now. Let's see what she thinks when she finds out you're giving away our food to beggars." Anna felt the pressure mount. She knew Mrs. Marisol's reputation. A demanding owner with an iron fist, famous for not tolerating a single mistake. Still, something inside her refused to back down. "Do what you have to do, Sara, but I will not turn my back on someone who is hungry." The man stared at her, his expression a mix of shock and awe, as if he couldn't believe someone was actually defending him. In his tired eyes, a flicker of hope, long extinguished, began to glow once more. Sara's eyes narrowed, and a venomous smile spread across her face. "Fine, you brought this upon yourself. Just don't say I didn't warn you." She spun around, her heels clacking sharply against the marble floor as she hurried toward the owner's office. For a moment, Anna stood frozen, her breathing heavy, but she never took her eyes off the man in front of her. "Just wait here a moment," she said quietly. "I'll bring you something to eat." He tried to shrink back, ashamed. "I don't want to cause you any trouble, miss. I get enough of that on the streets." Anna leaned in slightly, meeting his gaze. "You are not the problem here. The problem is the lack of humanity in people who choose to look away." The man closed his eyes for a second, as if committing her words to memory. Without waiting for a reply, Anna turned and headed for the kitchen. As she walked to the dining room, she could feel the different gazes on her. Some of disapproval, some of shock, and even a few of quiet admiration. It was clear this was more than a simple gesture. It was an act of courage, and in the young waitress's heart, a single thought echoed like a promise. "I will not let him leave here empty-handed." In that instant, it wasn't just about hunger, it was about dignity. It was about taking a stand and choosing, despite the risk, to do what was right. Inside, the restaurant's kitchen was a symphony of controlled chaos. Pans sizzled on open flames and knives rhythmically chopped against wooden boards. It was the heart of the establishment, where every dish was treated as a work of art. Anna rushed in and approached Eduardo, the head chef. Eduardo. Her voice was soft. "I need your help." He glanced up. "What is it now, Anna?" She took a deep breath. "There's a man out there. He's starving. I can't let him leave empty-handed. I need a plate of food for him." Eduardo's brow furrowed. "You know that's not allowed. If Mrs. Marisol finds out, I'll be in trouble, too." Anna's gaze dropped to the floor. "I know, but if you had just seen the look in his eyes, you would understand." A brief silence fell between them. Eduardo stared at her, his eyes tired but full of a deep-seated humanity. "How many times have I seen good food thrown in the trash?" he muttered. "And now someone who truly needs it is right outside our door." He walked over to the prep station. "We're not going to steal anything," he declared. "I'll use what would have been wasted and make something dignified." A relieved, emotional smile spread across Anna's face. "Thank you, Eduardo." But just then, the kitchen door burst open. It was Sara. "I knew it," she exclaimed. "You're actually preparing food for that street trash?" Eduardo remained calm. "Sara, lower your voice. In this kitchen, I am in charge. I see nothing wrong with feeding a hungry man." Sara scoffed. "This will cost you both. I've already told Mrs. Marisol everything." Before Anna could respond, another employee rushed in. "Sara's right. The customers are getting restless." A triumphant smirk spread across Sara's face. "See? He's driving away business, and it's all your fault." Anna's heart was pounding, but her decision was made. "I don't regret it," she said, her voice shaking but firm. "He is going to eat, even if I have to pay for it myself." Eduardo nodded and placed a finished plate on the counter. "Here, a simple but dignified meal." Anna picked it up carefully, but before she could take a single step, Sara moved, blocking the doorway. "You are not taking that plate anywhere. I won't allow it." Anna looked her straight in the eye. "Then you'll have to stop me yourself." A tense silence filled the kitchen. Finally, Sara took a step back with a sneer. "Fine, take it, but when the owner gets here, you'll be begging for your job." Anna didn't reply. She held the plate tightly and walked back out into the dining room. There, the contrast was even more stark. In the corner, the poor man sat alone, trying to make himself invisible. Anna walked straight to him. "Here you are, sir." His eyes widened as if he couldn't believe it. "For me," he whispered. "Yes," she said, placing the plate before him with a gentle smile. "You deserve to eat just like anyone else." The man blinked back tears. I don't know how to thank you." Anna's voice was soft. "Just eat. Nothing else matters right now." It was in that exact moment that the office door swung open. Mrs. Marisol appeared. She wore a flawless suit, her posture radiating power. Her sharp eyes scanned the room until they locked onto the scene. "What is going on here?" Her voice was firm, authoritative. Sara wasted no time, rushing to her side. "Mrs. Marisol, finally, Anna and the chef are giving our food away to a vagrant. This will destroy the restaurant's image." Mrs. Marisol simply raised a hand, demanding silence. She walked slowly to the table. "Where did this food come from?" "I asked for it," Anna said. "Eduardo helped me." Sara seized the opportunity. "See? They're wasting the restaurant's inventory. You have to fire them." Mrs. Marisol was silent for a moment. Then she spoke, her voice like ice. "This meal needs to be paid for. Now." "I'll pay for it," Anna said without a second's hesitation. The man looked up distressed. "No, miss, please, you can't do that." But Anna cut him off gently. "It's already decided." The man looked at Anna, his eyes glistening. "Thank you," he choked out. "No one has ever done anything like this for me." Anna managed a small, brave smile. "Just eat in peace," she whispered. But peace was the last thing in the air. The man hesitated to lift his fork, his fingers trembling from humiliation. He felt like an intruder, a visible flaw in the polished luxury of the room. Anna remained by his side, a firm shield against the judgmental glares. "Please eat," she urged. "You are doing nothing wrong." He raised his tear-filled eyes to hers and finally brought the first bite of food to his mouth. A faint sigh of relief escaped his lips, but the peace was shattered almost instantly. Sara approached the table with heavy, deliberate steps. "So this is it? You're really going to let this man defile our restaurant, Anna? Anna turned, her expression like stone. What defiles a restaurant isn't hunger, Sara. It's a lack of compassion. Mrs. Marisol finally stepped forward. Then handle it. Quickly. I will not have a scene in front of my customers. Taking this as her cue, Sara leaned over the table. You hear that, beggar? Eat fast and disappear. You don't belong here. Anna couldn't stand it. Sara, that is enough, she said, her voice rising. Her co-worker laughed mockingly. You defend him as if he's your family. Anna shot back, because he could be, any one of us could be in his place. A heavy silence followed, but the scene was about to take an even crueler turn. In one swift, brutal motion, Sara lunged forward and snatched the plate from the man. Before anyone could react, she flipped it upside down, dumping the entire meal onto the floor. The food scattered across the pristine marble like garbage. A collective gasp of shock went through the room. The man stared at the floor as if the last spark of his dignity had just been extinguished. A hot fury rose within Anna. She lunged toward Sara. How could you? She screamed. He is not an animal to be treated this way. Sara just smiled. That's exactly what he is. A stray that doesn't belong in here. Anna took a shuddering breath and knelt beside the man. I am so sorry, she whispered. He shook his head, tears finally tracing paths down his weathered cheeks. You've already done more than anyone ever has. Anna gently touched his arm. No one is throwing you out like this. If I have to, I will bring you food myself. Every single day. She stood up and raised her voice, looking out at the entire silent restaurant. What is the problem with sharing what we have with those who have nothing? Why would so many of you rather see good food thrown in the trash than offer a single plate to someone in need? The customers were silent. Some looked away in shame. It was Mrs. Marisol who finally broke the silence, her voice booming with authority. That is enough. It is time for him to leave. Anna turned to her boss, her face a mask of profound disappointment. Mrs. Marisol, why is it so hard to simply allow him to finish his meal in peace? Wouldn't an act of compassion show this restaurant's true greatness, not diminish it? For the first time, Mrs. Marisol hesitated, her powerful composure wavering. The man rose slowly. I should go now. I don't want you to suffer any more because of me. Anna gently held his arm. You didn't cause anything wrong. He nodded slowly. I know, but I have learned not to fight for space where I am not welcome. Anna felt tears burn her eyes. You will always be welcome wherever I am. He looked at her, his expression deeply moved. Remember this, child. What you did today will echo further than you can possibly imagine. He touched his hand to his heart. The one who helps the hungry never goes unrewarded. And with slow, deliberate steps, he walked to the exit. Anna watched him go until he vanished from sight. That night, Anna went home with her mind in a whirlwind. She lay in her simple bed, but sleep would not come. The fear of the next day's meeting consumed her. What if Mrs. Marisol fires me? What if I can't pay my rent? The thoughts were suffocating, but in the midst of the crushing anxiety, she remembered the man's words. Peace isn't found on a full plate, but in the gestures that remind us we are still human. She sighed, closing her eyes in the darkness. I don't regret it, she whispered. The next morning, the clock read 8:50 a.m. when Anna arrived at the restaurant. Her heart hammered in her chest. She wore her impeccably clean uniform, her hair tied back firmly, as if to show the world she was ready for whatever judgment was coming. In the conference room, Mrs. Marisol began. Yesterday, we had an incident that exposed serious flaws in our team. I saw generosity on one side and arrogance on the other. Sara impatiently interrupted. Mrs. Marisol, with all due respect, what happened was an embarrassment. This employee gave our food to a beggar, tarnishing the restaurant's image. Before Mrs. Marisol could answer, the conference room door swung open. A man walked in. The entire room held its breath. It was a man from the night before, but he was transformed. Instead of tattered clothes, he wore an impeccable suit, his shoes polished to a mirror shine. His face, now clean-shaven, revealed strong features and a confident gaze. Jaws dropped. Mrs. Marisol rose to her feet, a faint, knowing smile on her lips. Allow me to introduce you all, she said calmly, to my son. The shock was palpable. The man you all judged yesterday was not a stranger, Mrs. Marisol confirmed. Her son walked to the center of the room. Yesterday, I decided to see with my own eyes how you treat someone who can offer you nothing in return. And I saw two things. I saw the quiet, profound kindness of some and the cruel arrogance of others. His eyes then settled on Anna. You, Anna, defended me without hesitation. You put your job on the line to give me a shred of dignity. I will never forget that. He then addressed the room. As of today, I will be taking over the management of this restaurant from my mother. I want to begin my leadership by reminding everyone of a simple lesson. We are not measured by how we treat the powerful, but by how we treat the vulnerable. Sara, still reeling, interrupted him. This is unfair. I was only protecting the restaurant's image. He looked at her, his gaze unwavering. I'm not here to condemn anyone, but yesterday, you threw a plate of food on the floor to humiliate a man who already had nothing. That doesn't protect an image, Sara. It only reveals a lack of character. Sara finally lowered her eyes, her face burning with shame. This is why I've always said, Mrs. Marisol spoke. Character is not measured by the uniform we wear, but by the choices we make when we think no one is watching. Her son then turned his full attention back to Anna. I need someone I can trust by my side. Someone who will be not just an employee, but a partner. Anna, I want that person to be you. A gasp went through the room. Me? Anna whispered. He smiled. You've already shown you have courage, humanity, and integrity. That is exactly what I want in a partner. I don't know what to say. Just say you'll accept, he answered, extending his hand. Anna looked around the room, then took his hand firmly. I accept. The new manager, Lucas, smiled. Then we're in this together. In the middle of the evening service, he got everyone's attention. I know what happened yesterday wasn't easy, he said, so that both customers and employees could hear. But it all had a purpose. Our mission here is not just to serve expensive dishes. Our mission is to treat every single person with dignity. And I was taught that lesson by someone who didn't hesitate to place humanity above appearances. He paused, looking at Anna. Life rewards those who choose the path of kindness. A respectful silence fell over the room. Then, slowly, a few customers began to clap. Soon, the entire restaurant had joined in, the applause washing over the room. Anna felt tears well up her eyes. That night, she fell asleep in peace, knowing she had made a difference. And so, the story that began with a plate of food ended with a lesson that would echo forever. Whoever uses kindness as their guide can never truly lose. Because feeding the hungry is not merely an act of charity. It is an act of humanity, and that is what opens the true paths of life. And that was our story for today. A heartfelt thank you to every single one of you who watched until the very end. If you also believe that a simple act of kindness can change everything, please help our channel grow. Subscribe, leave a like to support our work, and most importantly, comment down below and tell us which part of the story moved you the most. We love hearing your thoughts. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.